It's day 2 of our bootcamp session 2. Welcome back. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget, trading is risky and all that business, but if trading is for you, this might also be the place for you. I'm going to be walking through everything. There's a lot to cover, so let's go on and get rolling with day 2. Alrighty then, hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of that intro. One of my phrases I have around here is if you're not having fun doing it, you are doing it wrong. Let's get into session number 2. Like I said, a lot to cover here. Check out session 2. If you missed session 1 yesterday, make sure you go back and watch that before you get into this one. You're going to be a little bit lost because we had a lot of foundational stuff we laid out yesterday for the workspaces and all of that. Now, don't forget, after session 2, we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 all the way through. And then I'd like you to spend 4 days with me in the live stream events after our 10-day boot camp. So on day 2, platform basics, workspace management. On the beginner side, we are going to cover some advanced level stuff as well. And don't forget our syllabus. So if you have not printed out a syllabus to know what we're looking at, make sure you do that. This is on the left-hand side of Discord at the top left in the start section, right under getting started. I should get a mic check. Can you guys let me know in the chat if you can type me a 1 there if we are good? 2, if I need to make any changes, or kind of let me know on the mic how that is doing. We are doing live session here tonight, so if you've got questions, you need me to pause anytime. Remember, I'm going to move fast because we got a lot to cover. Just slow me down if I need to. And I'm from Texas, so I talk fast sometimes. But pause the video, slow it down. You can roll it back and all that. That's kind of what I expect if you don't catch it along the way. All right. Get the syllabus printed out. We're going to be covering these beginning sections up here, and then don't forget, towards the end, we're going to be putting it all together. So if you get a question in lesson 1, I'll answer it in question 2, or in session 2. In session 2 today, you'll probably answer it in session 3 if we didn't get to it there. So just in general, hang tight. If you do have questions as we go, please ask them there in the chat, and we will slow it down to answer those questions. So on the workspaces, we talked yesterday about generally big picture workspaces, how to set up your workspace. So you should already be familiar with how to do that. But now I want to talk about layouts. Everybody's got a different computer layout and hardware, and I want to talk about making kind of some suggestions for how you might go about some things. But we also talked about getting in the 2-week free trial. However, let's assume for a moment that you have gotten in and you have purchased with us. You have bought one of our packages, and again, there's an upgrade path that's explained on the pricing page there. But let's say that you have purchased. There are 2 places to go for training. Now, you're doing the free section here on the boot camp during our 2-week free trial. If you want to get into the deep level advanced stuff, remember, I'm covering things to get you in as quickly as possible. I need to pause our financial juice guy there. To get you up to speed as fast as possible and hit the ground running to kind of fully understand our system, how it works, and ready to kind of start executing into some strategies in the simulated environments. But once you get that, if you want to know kind of the real deep dives on stuff, see how the sausage is made, you want to get in there into the premium member chat and the section inside of Discord where you'll get the premium member chat. Now, this is where it's currently located. If once you have purchased, you are now going to get access to the premium members only section on the left-hand side down here that right now you may not have access to. But once you have purchased, on the left-hand side, you will see the premium members only area. And you see this section right here that says lesson library. This is where you're going to go once you have purchased our system. Go into here and you'll see an entire lesson library go from the top to bottom and all the deep dive stuff. That's the standard 40-day process. If you want to deep dive into things, or if you want to look for specific lessons, at the same time, that's kind of supplemented now by our documentation that we spent. Again, we went over this yesterday, where we spent around 2 years at this point, and it's still being worked on. We actually just updated some of the stuff that we had questions on yesterday for the fiddle zone filter area. Remind me if I forget. I want to show you guys that fiddle zone filter section. We did finish that out here last night. Thanks, special shout outs to Eddie for helping us out getting that done. Let's go into the workspaces section inside of our documentation. So to get to documentation that we are going through here through our bootcamp, docs.algoboxpro.com. Coming back, we talked about the workspaces. So remember this from yesterday, things to set up. If you don't know, hit this video right here. Now let's go into the chart layouts themselves, depending on what type of layout that you might have. We touched on this yesterday. Remember, we are reading from left to right, and this is our main filter here before we execute on a big or a small on our ATMs on the right. Based on, if we got a play that comes in on this chart, I might have a larger target. Comes in on this one, I might be looking for a smaller T1, T2 scenario. Remember that? Awesome. Let's talk about laying your screens out. I want to take some time here on this one. Okay, so I'm going to slow it down a little bit. My recommended layout, you don't have to. So remember, these are recommendations for me. If I was going to do this, this is how I would do it. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit farther. My pedal's working here. Okay. So these days, the 43-inch 4K monitors are very inexpensive. You can go to Walmart, any other location, very inexpensive. I think I saw one for like $297. They're very inexpensive. So I do recommend, if you've got a workspace that you can work at and not on a laptop scenario, the ideal is to have a 43. Now, at some point, if you watch my old videos, I was talking about a 55. I did work on a 55 for a very long time, like in the same workspace right here where I was at. And I just found myself craning my neck just a little bit too much, kind of looking up, and things were kind of out of my eyesight. Like as I'm looking right here, I found myself having to look up a lot, up and to the right to see things. And I was like, you know, if I just brought that in just a little bit. So if you're watching the old video on the 55, if you heard, well, Vinny suggests the 55, okay, let's bring on our cool big red X's here today. Not a 55 anymore. Okay, I recommend a 43-inch. Now, I still actually like 40s better, but a 40 is kind of hard to get. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's hard to find a 40. If you can find one, a 40 is even better. It's absolutely perfect. I had one on a Dell and it burnt out on me, and it was a monitor shape, but hardly any TVs come in a 40. But if you find a monitor where you can get a 40 and you want to pay a little bit more for it, that 40 brings everything just perfectly. The 43 is still just a little outside it. I wish I could bring mine down just a little bit more, and maybe one day I'll find me a 40. But I would start with a center screen of 40 or 43 inch for your center screen if you are laying out your own setup and workspace. Now, if you have something else and you're working out and starting out, again, not necessary, but we're talking about ideal here, right? That's my job as a mentor to go, what would I suggest to myself, having spent a lot of time in our systems. Now, the 43 or your 40 in your center, that's there. And now you want to flank it with some additional monitors, because we need some more information, right? We are all about information. That's our entire job as traders, is to take in the information and make wise decisions. We're literally prediction mechanisms. We are predicting price movement. That's it. That's all we do. We're not saving lives, but you know, we're here at the end of the day. We're here to make money, right? That's our whole goal. If you're here for something else, you probably could go do something else. All right. So I think a two screen flank is really nice. Now, I've kind of found I kind of like putting them on the same side. Like I think from a balance perspective and visibility, I like having them left and right. Okay. Even in my current configuration, I like, I have them left to right, but I do find myself wishing I kind of just want to look to the left. Like I don't really necessarily want to look to the left and the right for various things, but wherever you put these, I do recommend that you have some extra pixelation, pixel space to put some additional items. Like for instance, Discord. Now, if you zoom in on this on the right, you'll notice we've got two Discords laying over here on the right. Now I can't tell from the screenshot if they're set to premium or not, but I do recommend that you have 2 of these set to, for sure, you want our public chat, and the other one I would probably put on the news feed. In the news, that is on the left-hand side of Discord if you click under news, so open another window there. Now, let's back up one more step talking about Discord. I've got a whole video around the Discord layouts. It's like video number 4 in the premium member section on Discord layouts, and I go into specific details on I don't recommend installing the Discord app, even though you might think, oh, the app's got to be better. Unfortunately, I wish it was better, but it's not. The browser is actually better because you can't duplicate the Discord. It's like it's one frame, you get one screen, and that's it. And so I would recommend you do a browser base so that you can do multiple tabs. So have multiple tabs of Discord open in the browser, use the browser edition, and don't use the main one. Other problems are copy paste. You can't copy paste images as easily out of the Discord app for whatever reason, at least currently. Maybe they change that in the future, but as of right now, it's kind of difficult to right click. I just want to be able to copy an image and paste and send it to someone if I need to for screenshotting capabilities, etc. You're just going to have more versatility using the browser edition. So with that being said, you want to split out and get yourself 2 Discords for the top, and this one you might want to have for the public chat, and this one for the news, or vice versa, whichever you feel comfortable with. But once you lay it out that way, I recommend you keep it that way, just however you like it, but then keep it there, because the more that you shift around and change around, like your body and your mind and your eyes they get this muscle memory where they remember where things are located. If you start moving things around or keep moving things around, it's almost like there's this moment of reset. And what we're trying to do is become really good at our set out. So get your layout the way that you want it. Spend a lot of time up front getting it just right, just the way you want it, and kind of play with it a little bit at first and just feel it out. But then once it's there, this is my key, I would say, then leave it there. Don't change it, okay? Stick with it. Now, over here on the left, you'll see another Discord window that you may or may not recognize from our live streams. This is the MacV Ultimate running top to bottom over here. Now, I don't necessarily think you need to use an entire screen for this. You could put some other information over here, maybe the financial juice room, the Trump tweets section that I had talked about before. You may want to have that on the screen as well, but give yourself that additional real estate to give you the flexibility of the other third-party apps that I've talked about, like Snagit we talked about yesterday. Make sure you got those Trump tweets somewhere nearby on Truth Social on your screen layouts. Now, in this center screen, this is, remember I talked yesterday about I was concerned about overwhelming people with the layout that I would personally like. I like with what's called the 20 chart layout. Okay, that 20 charts is going to be 5 charts per instrument times 4 instruments. So in this quadrant here, I always put NASDAQ in the bottom left so that the buttons that I'm executing on land right here, almost in the center of the screen. This is kind of where the center action occurs, in the middle of your screen. Your eyeballs are kind of right here-ish, and right here where those buttons are, I want the fastest instrument right there, where if I'm going to react to something, it's going to be right there. Now, on the live streams, I am generally doing YM, so instead of NQ, I might have the Y here for my main in the bottom left so that it puts my execution buttons right there, kind of center, and just a little bit down for my eyes. Make sense? So NQ, and then I might want to go from here, and then I want my next fastest probably right up above it. And I like to put the YM up above because I think about shaking my head, yes. Okay, it starts with a Y, YM, yes. I look up and down, yes. So YM, I put it up there, and I literally never move it. Like if I'm going to do a configuration, I always know where it is. I'm like, if I'm looking for the Dow, I don't want to be moving these things around. Once I set it there, that's its location kind of for life, okay? And then I got RTY over here on the right, and that, I like the logic of that. I like to do things when I get to choose something and I'm trying to choose the best way to do something. I think R to the right, so I've got RTY on the right. There's my R. ES is the slowest of all of them, so if I need to hit a button on it, I got to reach way up there to the corner to hit something. You know, my 2 slow guys, ES and RTY over there on the right, kind of sitting there together. Make sense? That's kind of my general layout for the 20 chart layout. Now, You do not have to have the 20 chart layout. Remember, you can actually reduce that and do the 3 chart layout. I'm going to show you that here on my own live screen here in just a moment. You can do what we call the flag, so that instead of all 5 of those, we've got this layout. So you have 3 per. Okay, I just kind of reconnected everything. Let's see. I see dropped frames 0 now. Mic check, mic check. How are things now? Is it better? All right, I might need to pause the video here during this little event here. Let me see if I can sort through this. Just a couple things. I'm going to switch workspaces. Test 1, test 2. Test 1 and 2. No, I'm seeing dropped frames again. What is going on with that? Stream is skipping. 1200 frames dropped. What is going on? Yeah, it's still bouncing around. Yeah, I see it saying dropped frames. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. They are experiencing buffering. Enough video. Let me see if I can fix that a minute. I apologize. Haven't changed anything since earlier today, so odd. Okay.